Um, yeah, let's get into a birthday message. Angels, ancestors, spirit guides, higher beings, light and unconditional love, divine mother, divine father, Holy Spirit. What are the best and highest messages for this collective? Hi, Greg. How are you? I hope that you're having a blessed, beautiful day. And whoever else joins the live, I'm gonna like check in periodically, but you know, try to get into the vibes. It's been a while since I've recorded a reading, but I'm feeling better as of lately. So I'm gonna hop on here. Let's see. Overall vibes. We have the 12th house, which is a card of Pisces typically, which it is Pisces season. Um, it also deals with the subconscious and solar eclipse returns. So big change, internal shift, and then Aries I am. A reveal. 11th house friends in the reverse and 5th house creativity. Interesting. So a separation from some kind of social circle that may have, what is that word? Subdued? Kept someone small, kept someone in the same place, or kept someone tied to a particular identity. So the collective that I'm reading for, we have Capricorn in the reverse. It feels like some kind of limitation has been lifted by by spirit, like removing people from your life or removing you from some kind of like social dynamic or group. This also feels like freeing yourself from group think to be able to express yourself authentically. I'm also getting that it's important that you don't look outside of yourself for validation in whatever you're pursuing currently. I'm also feeling like there are many things that you can do, but the energy behind what you do is what matters. Like there are many programs you can follow, there are many um you can buy a program and learn a thing, but it won't have your unique energetic signature tied to it if you don't have like your heart put in it, if that makes sense. And I'm seeing 444 and 9. We have the kiss. Interesting. So this could have been an intimate relationship. It doesn't have to be a group. And then we have the empty room. This could even allude to a breakup. Again, like something being removed from your life or you being removed from some place, some environment that was related to relationships. So maybe this could even show up in the way, like the example of you staying in a particular place because you want to be close to a person. Um, or maybe you have a hard time like picturing your life outside of this particular connection. Um, and we have, yes, Aries I am is clarified by the threshold. So it's like it may not have been a decision that you chose on your own, like spirit push this, or there were circumstances that felt like they were out of your control to get you to this point where you're on this threshold by yourself. And this could be something that happened over time. Yeah, because 11th house friends in the reverse, that's the only one that's in the reverse, is clarified by the river, which it signifies an emotional block. So it's like I really feel like this could show up like a close relationship or a person that you were very close to. or a group that you felt like, I don't know, maybe you tied your expectations of, like, your idea of success to this group, or accomplishing something with this person, or again, your identity was tied to it in some way. And so I think spirit is saying that your potential is greater on your own. Yeah, we have fifth house creativity and the thread. So I want to get one more for that. The storm, and then the queen. Interesting. I'm hearing like something about like when you're playing chess, the queen is the strongest, you know, the strongest player on the board. You can make a whole lot more moves with the queen on her own. Oh, I just got a Cash App payment for my birthday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, yeah, you can make a whole lot more moves on your own, and it's interesting because all of the positive cards are showing this theme of like the colors, this reds and oranges, reds and oranges, reds and oranges, Aries I am, reds and oranges, solar eclipse, reds and oranges, and this queen card, reds and oranges. There's something about you being comfortable in a level of darkness too, because the other positive cards are of a darker nature. Um, but the one reversed pile is 11th house friends and the river, and this all is up here. The throat, the third eye, the crown, this blue, the blues and purples. There was a suppression of your expression within this group. Um, Also, I feel like you felt like you had to show up lighter than maybe you actually authentically are. Not to say that that's a bad thing. Maybe that's the thing. It's like you have to debunk this about yourself, is that you have this darkness that I feel like you're much more comfortable with and you're able to explore on your own. Because when I lifted up this queen, I saw the underworld, and then I saw healer and the poet, being able to transmute darkness on your own. And maybe you were having, there was a lot clouded up here because you were picking up on other people's things. You may have been transmuting a lot on behalf of that other person, if this is an intimate relationship, without you even recognizing it. And maybe now that time has passed, because this feels like you're either at this threshold. This feels like it could even span into an explanation of something that has happened over time, you know, like being removed from groups, being removed from a particular person and how you're processing that. But it feels like it could span back a bit to have some explanation for as to why that kind of pattern had been happening in your life, for you to realize and come into power, being in your own darkness rather than transmuting others' darkness, if that makes sense. And it feels like there's a lot of creative power to be found when you're on your own. What can you create for yourself? And not to discount the power of these energetic centers, it just feels like there was so much, maybe you're just spending a lot of mental energy too, or using your intuition, your intuitive gifts to help guide these people or guide this person. And you're not even realizing how much of that energy is being expelled by doing this all the time, you know? Or you could have been just like an energetic buffer in a situation, and through time, through separation, you're realizing how much more you're able to accomplish, how much more you're able to do on your own, and how much more creativity can be accessed when you're using it for your own life. And I also feel like there's this invitation to be more selfish, with the queen of the underworld. Oh, these cards just fell on the ground as I was trying to. Yeah, they're the Ten of Swords. Down my throat. The Ten of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune. It's like a repetitive pattern of feeling betrayed, you know? Ten of Swords is about betrayal, and it's like this loop, of betrayal. So this could be explaining, like I said, feeling into it feels like it could be explaining a pattern as to why you get removed from situations, even though I feel like you may feel that you have the emotional capacity to hold these things for other people. But I think that spirit is kind of highlighting that you may have been taking on other people's, yeah, you're giving a lot of healing energy. We have the Star and the Six of Pentacles. Like there should be an exchange of that, but I don't think it was a fair exchange. And this could come from even you not understanding the power that you hold, the energy that you hold, the ability to transmute energy, and how helpful it is to other people around you, but how taxing it can be when there's not reciprocity. And I think that there could be something subconsciously about your identity being attached to how much you can hold and transmute, how much you can withstand, how strong you can be for others. And that being the exchange that you have maybe even programmed into you that could keep you in the same place, like around the same types of people, you know? Um, and so there's an invitation for you to only work on what's yours. You know what I'm saying? Like only take on what's yours and allow people to walk their own path, you know? Um, let's clarify. What is this the case? Ten of Cups in reverse and the Eight of Swords, yeah. This was a disharmonious, is that the word? Disharmonious relationship that may have mirrored patterning from like the programming that you may have learned in familial patterns. Jeez. And so you would convince yourself to stay in the same place because that is all you knew of love and relationships, of closeness, of intimacy. And so spirit kept removing you or removing people in a way that would crack you open, it feels like, for you to see where the programming led to like having these like internal limiting beliefs. Because I don't think that you were actually very happy. And so now we have the empty room, solar eclipse clarified by the Chariot and Queen of Cups in reverse. Spirit is saying that you were overgiving and like something was eclipsed out of your life or is getting eclipsed out of your life and it's time to move forward and see your own potential. I think that it's hard when maybe you don't get, again, I mentioned something about validation. And so if you're not getting that validation from that other party of like maybe how much you impacted them or what role you've played in, and role even comes with like ego identity, it's like how you identify, it's like what am I doing, what am I supposed to do type of thing. And it feels like there was no validation of that. And so I think that it's hard for you to move on from this situation or to move forward or to validate how much you've actually impacted someone when that validation isn't coming from outside of yourself. But if you are showing up authentically as much as you could from this place of not understanding the dynamic that you were actually in on a conscious level, So if you're showing up to the best of your ability, I think that you should like the advice feels to be able to release yourself without needing that validation, because that's a part of the programming. Does that make sense? Yes, we have the 8 of Cups, clarifying the threshold, and I am, and Page of Pentacles. So they're asking you, what have you learned from this situation when you reflect back on it? And how can you integrate that lesson, that one learning? It feels like this is a puzzle piece. How can you integrate that and take that next step into the unknown? How can you transmute something for yourself? What is the lesson that you have learned and how can you integrate that? And then we have 4 clarifying this. So it's interesting because I feel like this has to do with jealousy in some way, because I do see 2 characters here. Um and like a lesson around learning who your friends actually are, because and they want you to be detached in your review of this so that you can integrate the lesson, because we have the Queen of Wands in reverse, the Hangman, King of Swords, and then the Ace of Wands. I feel like the jealousy is like what kind of strings you up, but it's like you don't recognize when someone does not have the best intentions for you, because you want to believe, like, if you're in a dynamic with someone like a friend, and they have these inherent insecurities about what they can accomplish, what they can do, what they can't do, but they see you doing those things, you don't think that breeds something within them, but you're so focused on transmuting and helping them that you're not even moving forward in your own life, but you're trying to bring them along with you, but it keeps you stuck with a hangman, you know? But then we have this King of Swords and the Ace of Wands, and it's like they see you with this mental clarity, this authority over your life, and this person, when they're integrated, this type of energy, it sees the truth for what it is, and the truth is that you hold the wand, not this person, the Queen of Wands in reverse. And I think that Spirit is inviting you to actually look at the truth of this situation and not take it personally as to why someone left your life, why Spirit removed them out of your life, and actually look at the truth. And I think that looking at the truth you would have to acknowledge your influence. You would have to acknowledge your gifts. You would have to acknowledge did I say influence already? That you inspire people. And just because somebody cannot transmute that inspiration energy that is available to them, that they're dealing with jealousy, and that's their problem, you know? But you had this vision due to, again, 10 of Cups in reverse, romanticizing dynamics that are not good for you. People that don't show genuine love to you. They want what you have, but they do not possess the qualities, the character within you to be this just yet. And maybe that's why you came into their life, to show them this, but trying to hold on to someone that is not in that work, in this level of work, it will cause stagnancy and an emotional blockage, a mental blockage. So now we have, interesting, the 5th house, creativity, is clarified by the thread in the storm. Spirit is offering you an opportunity to get creative, to look at the situation outside of the box, again, to acknowledge your own creative power as well, and to uh, detach with the King of Swords, to practice a level of detachment from this situation so that you can observe what thoughts are actually yours and which ones are not, you know? It feels like you may be this also feels like you may still be energetically connected to another person that is trying to figure out something, that may be trying to transmute something on their own. And, um ooh, and this one came out fast. Yeah, 3 of Pentacles in reverse, this is not your energy. So if you keep picking up on somebody pulling at your energy, especially with the thread here in the storm, this person is trying to transmute something, and you used to do that on their behalf by being in their life. The devil, that codependency, that attachment. This is an attachment. So spirit is asking you, I feel like the advice here is to it's really that you don't I don't feel like this collective has to transmute anything other than the programming of, like, why do you want to keep somebody in your life or keep the door open for somebody to come back into your life to maybe solve this problem? Because the truth of the situation is this Queen of Wands in reverse hangman. You know what I'm saying? And so free yourself from the responsibility that you may have assigned yourself, the role that you assigned yourself to play, or needing the validation that you played this role to acknowledge your own power and influence in the situation. Yeah, Knight of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, the Six of Swords. I feel like, and then the Moon, this is something that is happening. Both two parties are going in different directions. I feel like the Six of Swords came out over here by the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like this is you taking that next step with that Page of Pentacles, taking the lesson and integrating it for the next step on your journey. But the Knight of Swords, this feels like the chaotic energy that you may be picking up on. You're getting like pings or like telepathic like communication from this person. And with the Moon, it's coming from this place that is unseen. And so sometimes you may feel anxious, especially if has to do with like putting yourself out there, you know, continuing to do whatever you were doing before you met this person, you know, like the things that you didn't have an issue with, if you start having an issue with them, it may be due to the fact that you're energetically connected to this person. Yeah, Knight of Cups now and the Seven of Wands. This feels like an uphill battle to something that should be flowing for you, you know? Like you Yeah, it's like the energy should be flowing and it's not flowing the way that it normally does for you in a particular activity or a particular thing, you know? Um Queen of Swords in reverse and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. And I also feel like you're very defensive. It feels like this other person is trying to figure something out, which is feeling like you may be confusing it to like they may want to speak to you, they may want to reconcile something again, and you may be looking at this because of due to other programming, like this person may want to make something right, or you may get validation for something and that will release you. But I don't think that that's what it is. I think that actually in reality, you're quite guarded to this person's even potential apology that you think may be coming, but I don't think that that's what's coming either. I think that you're just picking up on this person trying to like work through this situation that may be related to you. Um, we have the 9 of Cups now and the Ace of Swords. I feel like you are being guided. I feel like this is confirmation that I'm hitting the nail on the head in this reading, but I also feel like you have full permission to do what it is that you want to do, you know, to go for what you want to go for. And to with the King of Cups here, I mentioned in the beginning of the reading having like you know that you have a certain level of like capacity, like emotional capacity to hold space, and spirit is encouraging you to hold space for yourself, not for this other person. I also feel like there's an invitation to do the cleansing and clearing that you need to do to not have this person in your energy. Yeah, because Five of Pentacles and the Empress, this person is cut off. They were cut off. That's what it is. Whether this person was removed from your life, they removed themselves from your life, energetically speaking, this was supposed to happen because this person was not actually like this was the undertone of the connection. There was a jealousy. There was a hindrance in you being able to move forward. And so spirit is saying they don't get access to your ability to transmute energy on their behalf still, even when you're not in their life anymore or they're not in your life anymore. Yeah, Seven of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, the Fool, the High Priestess, and the Four of Wands. Yes, like you have this temple aura protective energy around you. And it's important with the Two of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups to be able to prioritize, like to understand what is your energy and what is not your energy. So this is a lesson in itself, like something that you can learn to integrate is like, what is my energy and what is someone else's energy that I'm picking up on? And then, um, yeah, I don't, with the Fool and in the reverse and the High Priestess, it feels like it's not even a, I want to say it doesn't feel like a big deal, you know? Like, you can clear this out pretty easily, you know? Um, you can clear that energy out easily. Yeah, 10 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, 10, 10, close it, and the Page of Cups in reverse. This person's energy, it feels quite heavy on their own. This is in the challenge position. And you're you have permission to release the extra baggage. You know what I'm saying? You can release the baggage. You can release the stories of betrayal because I feel like this collective with Aries, I am and threshold and the empty room, the potential, all these things. It's like you're on your own. You're by yourself at this moment. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the time to rewrite this. Page of Cups in reverse is telling me that it's important to rewrite this. While this is not an energy that is threatening to you, it's important that you rewrite this so that you don't continue to fall into these like delusional traps around the connections that you call into your life, you know? Um, anything else? Nine of Wands and the Page of Wands. This also can equal the 10 of Wands. You know, it feels like you've gone through many things, you know what I'm saying? You've gone through many things, but not every person is like this. You may have gone through the situation many times, but not every person is like this. So release the stories that uh, creates this like heaviness in or again these like energetic blockages. Release this so you don't carry this weight around that attracts like the same type of person or people in your life. I'm on 5%. So we're gonna close this out. Final card. Final card, Eight of Pentacles in reverse. They're just telling me you don't have a lot of work to do. Like, it feels like I think that you will find that the connections that you draw into your life, that you magnetize into your life in the future will not require nearly as much work as it required to maintain these other relationships or friendships, or, it will be very free flowing. Maybe you were always like helping someone to figure something out, or like I said, like using your intuitive gifts to like help somebody to just figure their own shit out. It feels like with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, they're asking you to do less, you know? Um, and not attach your identity to what you can do for another person, like what role you play in another person's life, and using that to like give you some type of validation or again it's like ego identity, an old way of identifying even in relationships was what could have been related to how can I help this person, what can I do for this person, is what do they need from me, and that secures a safe spot in your life with them, and so what does love and relationships look like outside of playing a role. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. So that's interesting. On the bottom of the deck this whole time, there was the Six of Cups, which kind of tells me that there are soulmate connections that may be coming into your life. Um, and I saw the Eight of Wands. So there may be new connections that are coming into your life that will help you with rewriting healthy, like a new relationship dynamic. Um, that's like not around this old pattern, essentially. Anyway, my phone is on 3%. Um, I'm gonna go relax and enjoy my birthday, but I haven't been on here in a while, and it was nice to do a reading on live. I appreciate you guys. If you're interested in a personal reading, all you have to do is send me a message, and we'll just, arrange things like that if you feel called. Anyway, have a good day. Bye.